Born in 1888 in Ballad, son of a trapper and moonshine, couldn't ask for nothing more. Learned to shoot by age of 11 through a bottle's narrow neck. Never touched the glass around it, just the bottom he would wreck. In the sawgrass and the cypress where the gators ruled tonight, young John Ashley learned the secrets of the Florida Everglades night. 1911 by Okeechobee, working otter skins with Desoto Tiger's crew. Came to town alone one morning with $1,200 new. They found Desoto in the dredge, churned up from the canal bed. Seminoles cried murder, Ashley disappeared instead. 2 years later he came back surrendering to the law's cold hand. But when they tried to move him to Miami, John made his final stand. They called him King of the Everglades, blue eyes staring through the sawgrass in a Spanish moss sway. With a glass eye for the world to see, and a bullet with your name carved out for destiny. From the Bahamas to the Gold Coast shore, they said John Ashley was the devil of Florida, never saw before, king of the Everglades. February 1915, Stuart Bank at closing time. Kid low when the Ashley brothers walked in steady for their crime. $4,500, maybe more the stories claim. But in the chaos of the getaway, Kid Low's pistol found its aim. Bullet tore the Ashley's jaw and settled in his left blue eye. Sheriff Baker caught him bleeding, said, "Boy, you're gonna die." But John just smiled through crimson teeth and whispered soft and low, "I'll be back to haunt you, Baker. This I swear you'll know." 2 years in raid for prison, working on the road gang chain. But March of 1918 found him free to roam again. Prohibition came to Florida, rum-running from the Bahamas tide. John and Laura Upthegrove became the outlaws none could find. They hijacked every bootlegger, controlled the smugglers' route, till even Capone's men in Chicago knew the Ashley gang's repute. Queen and king of the Everglades, hiding in a swamp so deep. 40 banks they robbed together, while the law could only weed. They called him King of the Everglades, blue eyes staring through the sawgrass in the Spanish moss and sway. With a glass eye for the world to see, and a bullet with your name carved out for destiny. From the Bahamas to the Gold Coast shore, they said John Ashley was the devil that Florida never saw before, king of the Everglades. Baker and Ashley, blood feud running deep. Father died hunting, son swore he'd never sleep, till Ashley's glass eye was a trophy on his chain. But the crackers and the woodsmen sang John Ashley's name. September 24th in Pompano, one last job to seal the fate. Left a bullet for the sheriff with a message, come and take. Baker swore he'd wear that glass eye as a watch fob when he's through. Sent his deputies to find him in the swamps they always knew. Old Joe Ashley died in gunfire, Laura caught the buckshot steam. John escaped into the darkness, but his days were on the wing. November 1st, 1924, Sebastian Bridge at night. Sheriff Merritt hung a lantern, deputies concealed from sight. Black Ford came rolling slowly, John and three were in the car. They stepped out with their hands raised, didn't make it very far. The official story says they fought, but their guns were holstered still. 4 bodies laid on 4 pierced grass, shot down at Baker's wheel. Baker pulled that glass eye out, held it family, but his conscience wouldn't let him though. Returned it to the family grave in Gomez where John lay. But some stole it years later, and it's missing to this day. Now the sawgrass whispers legends of the man who wouldn't die, the king of the Everglades, forever watching through his blue glass eyes. They called him king of the Everglades, blue eyes staring through the sawgrass and the Spanish monster sway. With a glass eye for the world to see, and a bullet with your name carved out for destiny. From the Bahamas to the Gold Coast shore, they said John Ashley was the devil that Florida never saw before. King of the Everglades, the king of the Everglades.